pick up what you're saying, even if you're not in front of it. So just be mindful of your conversation during the meeting. And thanks to our zoning chair, Stephen Harwood, for meeting that for months on end. We appreciate it. Before we approve our agenda, we'll all rise if able and turn to face the flag to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am flying without my recent vice chair, Hugh Kroll, so I apologize. I do have 2 additions to the agenda as it was published. We will need to elect our CAC officers for the year, so we will go ahead and do that before our elections committee update. We'll do it between city business and our elections committee update. And there is a note also that when we get to the zoning and variance component of the agenda, we'll talk about the zoning and variance new approved rule proposal, I think, tonight. Is that right?
It's a committee selection.
Committee selection process, thank you. And we'll, Chair Hardwick has drafted up a really great proposal on how we go about doing that. And we'll talk more about the various committee chairs at that point of the agenda too, and what the volunteer appointment process will look like for the upcoming month. Are there any other additions to the agenda? A motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. I will also make a quick note that Commissioners Wyman and Lee Osborne are both out under excused absences. They both had work conflicts this evening. And we are currently in the process of filling the District 4 seat. So we are 3 short, but we have 5, which is a full quorum, so we can go ahead and vote on things tonight. That won't impede our business at all. We'll go ahead and get started with district updates, and I'll start on my left with Commissioner Moritz from District 6.
Mark Moritz, District 6. I have a few updates, and one is relatively long. One update is I got a residents in my district have heard about the efforts we've taken for improving safety in Clintonville on the street, and residents have reached out, particularly about Henderson Road, where traffic is very fast. So I mentioned that we meet with people from the city later this month. The other update is, following Commissioner Mother's shout out to good neighbors, which I think is an excellent tradition. Good neighbors and people in the city, or people working for the city. In our neighborhood, in our streets, we had a nuisance property. So this was a house where not only homeless people would come, but drug addicts would come, there were drug deals, there were drug use, there were all kinds of problems. And it started a year and a half ago, and we got together with the neighbors, got a text group together. We met with Officer Brown, who explained to us how the system works, how difficult it is to get the nuisance property shut down. So it can take up to a year and more. And one of the things we did is we called in all the issues that were happening. So if we suspected a drug deal, or if we suspected a stolen car or other illegal activity, we would call the non-emergency number and say, this is going on. So I want to thank all my neighbors who were part of that group and did all the work of paying attention. I want to also thank Christopher Clark, Assistant City Attorney, Stacy Buddle, Officer John Brown, and people from zoning and variance and enforcement thereof. Because this was a joint effort to get the house shut down. There was a hearing in December. After that, there was a violation of the technical and legal stuff to Christopher Clark. But that ruling was violated, and then the house was boarded up. And I think earlier this month, the house was sold, and now the nuisance property has been lifted. So hopefully things are better now. The reason I'm saying all this is because we're not the only house or the only street where nuisance property happened. So if you, your neighbors, nuisance properties, I'm happy to we organize ourselves, we work with people from the city to tackle this problem. It takes a long time. So there's, but it's, I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad that we can I want to thank Christopher Clark and all my neighbors.
Well, thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for updating us in case we have some more issues pop up in our other districts. Commissioner Hadley.
Josh Hively, District 8. Nothing specific to report. I was hoping to see Officer Brown here this evening. With their, as I'm sure some of you have noticed, there was a string of graffiti, not only in my district, but all through Clintonville up into Worthington, by what appears to be one particular person. So I was gonna ask Officer Brown about it tonight, but he's not here, so I will send him a message, unless somebody already has, but to try to get some more information on that situation.
Brittany Bolton, District 5. I have 2 updates. One is I've been working to try to help some constituents on Blenheim who have, thank you, Ms. Patel, for responding to our requests. We've got, the city's working on a water line and there's a big leak that's creating some ice. So they've responded and we're in the process of getting that information out to the neighbors. And I also just want to say a thank you to everybody who participated in our hygiene kit drive. I know Sue's came from City Council. Thanks for coming by that night. We had 163 hygiene kits made this year. I think this was the 3rd year we had done it, and that was a record. We also had a ton of kids from Indianola and Formal come and help us pack the kits, and it made the work go by really, really quickly, to the point that the room was cleared and they were like doing cartwheels when we still had volunteers showing up because they did such a great job. So thanks to all of our neighbors for being so creative and generous about bringing in travel supplies, and those were all dropped off to the CRC, so they've been put to good use already. Commissioner Loda.
Whole lot of District 1. Reach out to Stacy, just a couple questions, I guess it was about, we got a string of car break-ins, broken glass. One neighbor held a suspect at gunpoint until the police arrived, and another car was shot at. One guy was in 6 in the morning. So there's been interest in a block watch, reestablishing that in our neighborhood. So I have the information for that. Thanks a lot. And we'll get that going and see what happens. Another constituent reached out wondering if we could get some speed bumps on Summit south of Weber. That's a cut-through area for people who try to avoid the Indianola light, making a left turn on Indianola. This might be something that's good for Summit on the other side too, so I have instructions again on how to go about that. And then my street in particular is the ongoing Columbia gas work, which we'll hear from later on in this meeting. So that's it.
Thanks so much. Commissioner Nutter.
Right now, District 2. Just a couple updates that I have is, if anybody's been on West North Broadway, they probably have looked either north or south, and you can see that they've been working on the bike path. So you can tell that where they're going to put the bridges across, one at Como Park and one at Northmore Park. So they've got the median on West North Broadway and the crosswalk, so it gets finished for that part of it. The other comment is the Columbia Gas project on West Weber. The house is down, however, rubble is not. Okay, even though they recommended that they would have it done in a week or 2, it's been over a month now. So my other question, if they're here, I hope they would address the idea that they had talked about getting with the neighbors to work on some kind of a plan for that empty area until they actually go through with the project, which is scheduled 26, 27, who knows. So I just want to find out if that has been done and what the results were from that meeting. So I guarantee I'll be following up on that every month if I don't hear from them, so those kind of things. Just a couple updates. I don't know if you've been down High Street. I go down, I'm down there every day, but I've noticed recently there's some new businesses that I didn't realize. There's a shoe repair place. I didn't know we had one on High Street, which is just news to you. I checked it out. Maybe they got a new sign. I don't know, but it was very visible that you could tell. So it's good to see some new businesses move in our community and stuff. So please try to support those as you can. The other comment I have coming here on Mill Ford year. They didn't stop or anything like that, just kept going, but, you know, they didn't look both ways. But they did. The other thing. The other thing, we've also had some graffiti on West North Broadway and East North Broadway as well. And I really wish they would crack down on that. Even we tagged the mural again on East North Broadway. Excuse me, my voice. On East North Broadway. But that's, you know, that's an ongoing problem. It was getting better there for a while, then all of a sudden we see a resurgence. So I don't know if those individuals got out of jail or whatever happened with them. But those kind of things. As you know, as Mark pointed out, that I'm a big one for recognizing good neighbors, okay? And this past Christmas season, again, I know I've shouted out to Brenda Arnold, who lives on West North Broadway, but again, she did a lot for the, for Halloween, okay, for that, but she also helped with the luminaries as well, and I want to shout out to the scout troops at United Methodist. They came out, actually put the things together and put them out. I wasn't able to see what they looked like, but I was told it looked very nice. And Brenda actually commented to me how nice it looked and stuff, so she was pleased to help out with that. Where else I going? I did receive a note, an email from a constituent, not of mine, but just from the Clinton Grove area. His daughter had moved here recently, about 3 years ago, bought a house on East Dominion, and was concerned and just wanted to find out some information about how to go about finding any information on fencing for their property. He recently did a survey of their property and realized that 2 fences on one side of the property had 2 fences, and it was actually on their property and not the neighbors. So he wanted to be a good neighbor and try to resolve that in a friendly kind of situation without having to resort to court and stuff like that. But he's already ran into problems with that neighbor. I come to find out she's a renter, and the land owner, property owner, is actually a realtor. Okay. So up in Powell. So I suggested he talk to the owner first and find out from there. But he wanted to know if there's any kind of guideline in the city council regulations for the city of Columbus. That there's guidelines he could follow for the proper way to advance that discussion, and where to put the new fence if there's a 12-inch guidance for the fence for the property, or can be stuck on the property line. The reason why he wants to do something, obviously he's not going to do it this time of year, but he wants to put a new fence in himself, so he's going to put one in, or his daughter is, I guess I should say. But the problem was that between these 2 fences is about 1.5 feet that has been not attended to, so you've got tall grasses and weeds and whatever trash all accumulating in there, and nobody's taking care of it. So he wants to resolve it, and he took down one tree that was a big nuisance, and now that's created, looks a lot better, and he's got some comments from. Got a lot of flack originally, because, in Clintonville, we love our trees, but he said it looks a lot better, and those kind of things. So that's basically all I have, so thank you.
Did you have a comment on that? Okay. I appreciate that he's talking to the owner next door before, because I'm sure he could call code enforcement would be my next guess, but I think it's always great to talk to neighbors first when possible to try to figure things out. So that's great. Thanks, everyone. Commissioner Mark, would you like to present our December meeting minutes?
Only one reply. Commissioner Lana made that correction. So we're ready to be approved.
Great. All those in favor of approving the December minutes? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Commissioner Miller did just email me right as we were gearing up that he is not able to make it tonight, so we will not have a treasurer's report. Although I did see that area commissioner training calendar came out that you sent us, and I think there's a fiscal training, so we'll make sure after our elections tonight that our treasurer attends if possible. like to start with updates from Department of Neighborhoods?
Good evening. Alright, so basically I've already sent this out in an email, but I'll go over it, and if you have any questions, just let me know. So, Clintonville Area Commission has $2,500 to spend before April 30th. Remember that you do have a P card, so whatever you wanna buy, and I sent out the allowable expenses, so I didn't do that till today. Just let me know, because I'll buy it on your account, and that way all reimbursement that's gone, it's super easy. So, I can get that done within a day or two of what you sent, what you request to buy, I can make that happen. Yeah, you did see the new AC training calendar. I also did see the first, I sent today the first RSVP for the Wednesday, January 29th meeting that's being provided by the city attorney's office. So there's a link there that you can sign up, and then it's via WebEx, so you can sit at home, nice and cozy with a hot chocolate in front of your fire and learn about, what the city attorney's office does. The rest of these are from the county auditor. Dog licensing season is upon us, and between now and January 31st, you can purchase your dog license online through the auditor's website or in person at their office. Also, between now and March 31st, the Franklin County Auditor will be hosting mobile filing events for the Board of Revision at locations across Franklin County. These events are to answer questions regarding property values and to assist homeowners in filing a complaint if they believe their value is incorrect. So if anyone, all the neighbors in here, if you have any questions about that, I can direct you to what you need to see on the auditor's website. I gave a flyer to you guys in an email. And then finally, the auditor's office will also be kicking off a series of monthly events called Community Connects, where you can interact with experts from different departments to learn more about what your auditors can do for you. The first event is held on January 23rd, 5:30 to 7 at the library in the Hilltop Ranch on South Egg. And that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions at all.
I have one question. That we had a constituent reach out to all of us about the snow on the sidewalks in front of the businesses, and I think mostly the High Street area, about certain business owners maybe not taking care of the sidewalk in front of their businesses, and it being difficult for folks with wheelchairs, strollers, to get through. And they said they know they can 311, but they just wondered whether there was another way when there's so many folks who are not being good stewards of the space in front of the sidewalks to encourage good behavior.
Obviously, as you said, talk to your neighbors first, talk to the business first, and then second come to me.
Okay.
And then I can make code enforcement in this area where, and then we'll just go have a conversation as well. Because that's not all the way anytime soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Of course.
Mr. Clark with City Attorney's Office. Sounds like you had a busy month with us.
Hello, Commissioners. Happy New Year. I'm Christopher Clark. I'm the City Attorney for Zone 4, which includes this area. Just as Commissioner Moritz indicated just a little bit, I'm a member of the Property Action Team, which we sue individuals and corporations for violations of city code. That includes the housing code, the building code. We sue businesses, we sue bars for violation of Ohio Revised Code and the Columbus City Code. So if there is a business or a neighbor in your area that are violating codes, please reach out to me, especially if it's the more serious nature, as what we were talking about with Commissioner Moritz, where it's a drug house and open, obvious violations of the law. Then we can address those issues as they come. With regard to the fencing area, just building and zoning services, if they have questions about how large their fence can be, that would be a question for building and zoning services. With regard to the survey, it might be more of just a civil issue where they have to sue them, and they already hired a surveyor, so that seems like they should be successful in that suit. But yes, I'm here. If you have any questions.
Pop the door. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Here if you have any questions, and hope we have a safe New Year.
Thank you so much. Any questions from commissioners for Chris Clark?
I have cards.
Awesome.
As always.
Thank you. I know we've got city council here tonight as well. Welcome to Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year. Thank you, Chair. I hope you guys all had a good holiday vacation. So unfortunately, I have a lot of updates, but I will run through them as fast as I can. First, I'm going to start with the hearings that we have this week. We only have one. It is an economy and workforce budget hearing. So that's going to be this Friday, the 10th at 3 p.m. at Columbus City Hall. It'll be in council chambers. The exact address is 90 West Broad Street. And if you would like to submit testimony, it can be written or in person. You have until about 12 p.m. day of to submit that as a written testimony, and then you can sign up when you go to the hearing to speak in person. And if you want more information as to where to send that email to your written testimony, I can give you my business card, and then I will make sure to get that information to you. Next, I want to talk about the MLK Day March. Actually, there is going to be a march on the 20th of this month. It's going to begin at the historic Lincoln Theater. So the exact address is 769 East Long Street. The march will kick off at 3:30, but the program will begin at 5 p.m. So if you would like to join the city in this MLK Day March and program, you are more than welcome to. Also for Black History Month, City Council is hosting our annual Black History Month event. It's a celebration and Poindexter Award ceremony at City Hall. It's on February 11th at 5:30. And we are also accepting nominations for the Poindexter Awards. So if you want to go to our website, we will have a link to go in and submit your nominations. And you have until January 24th. And the theme for this year is African Americans in labor. However, if you would like to submit someone who is not in the labor industry, we are also taking in nominations for people to recognize. And now I'll kind of get into more of the legislative process. So as you guys know, there is a vacancy for the District 7 chair seat. District 7 seat, sorry guys. So council has about 45 days after the original resignation of former Councilman Favor, who is now the Franklin County prosecutor. So that means we should be getting a new appointed council member by mid-February. I can foresee them appointing somebody by the end of January though. They already did an executive session this past week to discuss candidates. There are 10 candidates that have made it through the application process. The names of those individuals are on our website. One of them does include a current commissioner, so it's a pretty interesting lineup. And then if you want to know a little bit more about each candidate's candidacy, you can tune into the December 18th hearing that we had last year, and then that'll give you some more details about the candidates. Last thing, there was an inquiry that I got last month about if there was any sidewalks earmarked for the operating budget, and so I did check for that, and I didn't see anything at least for 2025. However, there is a mainline line and blueprint project that will be earmarked for the Clintonville area. I'm sure you guys are familiar with blueprint, with stormwater, making sure we keep that away from the clean water. So they will be doing a construction project that's about $8 million, I believe, for this area. And then also, this will kind of go into your concern, Commissioner Luna. There's a almost $400,000 is being proposed for the community crime patrol. And this crime patrol actually will also do south of Clintonville if the budget does pass. So hopefully this will kind of help to go along with the block watch. But this is just something that's up for discussion with the budget that will most likely pass in February. And I have the speed update, but we have a whole different section of the agenda, so I'll wait for that.
Thank you so much. Other questions from commissioners? Any questions from neighbors? Yeah, please.
Sorry, I came kind of late. Could you tell me more about this street in Clintonville? First of all, my name is Mr. Wilkins. I'm from the North Clinton area. So I'd just like to have more indication of Clintonville. How far is the light going to go? Because I know when I come here, I may have to flag down the bus because all along here is pretty dark. And so I have witnessed it quite a few times by me coming in here and waiting on the bus. So there's not enough lighting for this area. So is there enough money to get more lighting in some of these areas, some of these dark, well lit, not so lit, so light at night? If they can be more money allocated for this $1.5 million.
That's definitely a concern. I could bring up to the council members. It would probably come out of public service, maybe utilities. I'm not 100% sure which department, but it's definitely something I can.
I'll be making a point of it to city council in the session. Thank you for your time.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Wonderful. Any other questions? Great. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll chat more about speed limits or speed calming in a little bit.
Okay.
Thanks.
Guys.
Okay, before we move on to our election committee update, we need to elect our officers for calendar year 2025 among our commission. So hopefully among the 5 of us, we can find 4 to serve in those roles.
4 not here.
That's why they're not here.
We can nominate them.
We just nominate
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Unanimous
We
vote.
could, so let's start with treasurer, actually. Commissioner Miller has been serving as treasurer. I don't feel comfortable confirming him in that role when he's not here, but we could consider holding on that role until next month and voting on that role next month. Unless there's somebody else here who would like to nominate a present colleague or themselves for the treasurer role. It will largely entail keeping an eye on our budget, so $2,500 from now through April, and just maintaining what our expenses are over the course of the year. I will read the room and suggest that we table the nomination of our treasurer to our February meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Great. Next, we'll move on to secretary. I believe Commissioner Moritz is willing to continue his very efficient and thorough and wonderful secretary work for this calendar year. And if you are still willing to do so, I would love to nominate you to continue in that role.
Unless somebody else wants to do it.
Is there a second for Commissioner Moritz's secretary? Second? All right, all those opposed? Aye. I'm sorry, all those all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Excellent. Now we need to replace Commissioner Kroll in our vice chair role. This role, historically, so the #1 priority for this role is that if the chair is absent, they will preside over the meeting. There's also some administrative zoning and variance work throughout the year related to garage variances most usually, where the chair and then the district representative need to sign off with the zoning and variance committee chair to approve those between meetings. And historically, Commissioner Kroll, myself, and Commissioners, with the last few vice chairs have helped prepare the agenda each month. That's been the biggest. Is there someone who would like to volunteer for the vice chair role? If not, I would like to nominate Commissioner Lotta. As you are very consistent in your, not just your attendance, but your engagement on every topic that comes before the commission, and very deliberative and thoughtful. All right. That was a second. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. And next is obviously the chair role, which I have done this past year after Dave Botero's retirement from the commission. Is there anyone else who would like to chair the Clintonville Area Commission and preside over our meetings?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Gold.
Is there a second? Thank you. All those opposed? Aye.
Aye.
My goodness, why are you letting me chair? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Great. Well, congratulations and thank you for serving, Commissioner Moritz and Commissioner Lotta. And I will reach out to Commissioner Commissioner Miller and let him know we're holding the treasurer's seat warm for him next month, should he be able to attend. Before we get into the elections committee update, we will talk about the process for appointing our volunteers at the February meeting more in detail during Chair Hardwick's update on zoning. But I do want to note, I reached out to all of our currently sitting chairs, and they are willing to continue serving with the exception of Ty Holbert, who is our current tech and PR chair. That role is typically busiest right before our monthly meetings. They end up posting, we kind of tag team posting to both Facebook and the CAC website our public meeting notices. I usually handle the full CAC meetings, and then he has handled historically a lot of the zoning and variance posting to our website. So we are in search of a tech and PR chair. If you're here tonight and you're interested, I think that there are a lot of really fun ways that this role can grow as well by enhancing our social media, posting more regular news updates about things happening in the neighborhood. But unfortunately, Ty has been volunteering with us for many, many years, and he just bought a new house and moved, so he's not in the service area anymore. So he's gonna step down, and we'll miss his volunteerism. We do need to approve the remaining committee chairs, and I would like to list each of them who are willing to continue serving, and then propose them as a slate for the commission to respond to. So Commissioner Stephen Hardwick is willing to continue serving in the zoning and did I just say Commissioner?
Yes.
What is happening tonight? I don't know. Chair Stephen Hardwick of the Zoning and Variance Committee. How many years have you been in this role now, Stephen?
I don't, 5 or 10.
5 or 10. For quite a long time, has graciously offered to continue serving in that role. Election Chair Committee Chair Melissa Dahl has also offered, this was your first year serving, second year serving as committee chair. So we're very gracious, very grateful for your leadership in our elections process and running with all the curveballs that we've had. And then co-chairs Brian Oshie and Annalise Kern have offered to continue serving in the Green Spot Committee co-chair roles, which is wonderful news. Very excited about all the volunteerism you generate. And committee chair Eliza Pendexter, who has a background in urban planning and has just finished her first year chairing the Planning and Development Committee, has offered to continue serving in that role as well. She couldn't be here tonight, but she is willing to continue serving. So I would love to move that slate of committee chairs to continue serving throughout 2025. Is there a second for the committee chair slate? Second. All those in favor of our committee chair slate, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Excellent. Thank you for your volunteerism and continuing to dedicate so much time to your community. And with that, we'll just keep our elections chair working.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
So far, I'm pleased to report that 2 residents of District 4 have expressed interest in running for the special election District 4 open position. And they are here tonight. I can spot you. Amy Jurgensen and Angela Saucer. Yeah. Both of them attended an orientation last night at the library, so we kind of are up to speed on all the details. But for everybody's benefit, petitions are due on January 18th by 4 o'clock. Candidates will be certified by January 21st. Special election day is Saturday, February 22nd, and there's early voting on Tuesday, February 18th. So hopefully we can have someone seated by by the March meeting. And there may be other candidates who come forward, but so far 2 and very great candidates. So I enjoyed our conversation yesterday.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for putting your names out there and running and being willing to commit time to the community. And thank you for shepherding this process and pivoting with the snowstorm and changing the date of the informational meeting. And I'm really encouraged to hear that both of the candidates attended the informational meeting too. That's great to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. And please feel free to come next month as well to stay in the loop before an official seating happens. We had a couple comments earlier around traffic safety. This has been something that all the commissioners have been very concerned with, but Commissioner Lee Osborne has really been shepherding this conversation. I know Commissioner Moritz has testified at City Council on this topic. I do not personally, over the last month, have an update on any action. I know you had done some speed bump constituent work. I don't know if there were more details you wanted to share on that.
Not this time. I'm just
Okay.
setting the ball rolling on that.
Do other commissioners have
so I spoke with the Public Service Committee and they have updated me that the traffic study will happen. It won't take place until this summer,
Okay.
just because with the winter weather, a lot of the equipment will most likely get messed up. So they will have a better timeline. There is a queue for all the different areas that will be getting a traffic study, so I can't give an exact date quite yet, but closer to this summer, they'll be able to update me as to when this traffic study will be able to take place. And as for right now, one thing that they could possibly foresee with an update or changes being made in the strip that you guys asked for would be something possibly between here at the library and the Hot Chicken Takeover. And they don't know quite yet what would happen, possibly striping of the roads, which will help to slow the cars down a bit. But they say that the traffic study will help to confirm what can be done. And as far as that meeting with the Councilwoman Rose and Ibadia's team, I haven't been able to get an update as to when her availability will work, but I will continue to press for that. So if I can get an update before the next meeting, you'll be getting an email from me. But all the interested commissioners should be in the loop for that.
Thank you so much, and that's encouraging in your traffic studies coming.
It's a quick question, just more of an observation, but recently the city council voted to just lower speed limits on a variety of streets, including High Street in Short North, where it went from 30 to 25. So I don't know if there's any kind of evidence backing that up. I don't know whether there was some studies that involved, or did they just do it?
Yeah, so I know that was a part of the Vision Zero legislation that has been passed at the December 16th meeting. I will be 100% honest, I'm not quite sure what the reasoning behind all of those different areas are. That will most likely be a topic that we can discuss at that meeting. However, I can also inquire with the team and get back to one of you guys sooner than that if you would like, but I believe studies were already being done, and with those having already been taking place, like it was just easier to get those approved with legislation. But again, that's not a real answer. That's just what I'm surmising.
I understand that this is interesting. I'm curious as to what the criteria was to drop those speed limits and whether we can meet that same criteria.
Yeah, I can ask for that and get an answer for you. I can reach out.
Thanks.
I think Commissioner Wyman sent an email out earlier explaining that the ODO rules say that when it's a business district, then the city can lower the speed to 25. Clearly, High Street in our part of town is a business district, so they should be able to do that without a traffic stop.
Dealing with traffic, I know Donna has talked about that quite a bit, because we see a lot of traffic on North Broadway, east and west. My concern with the speed limit, it needs to be reduced to 25 even for the residential area, not just High Street, the commercial areas. My biggest concern lately, because I've had to readjust my house how it is for right now, but the trucks, basically from Kroger, and I'm assuming it's Kroger trucks because a lot of them have Kroger on the side, but they're not going 25 or 35, they're going 50. Okay, and when you can hear it in the evening, in the early mornings, you know, at 2 or 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, it just jars every picture off the wall in my house. So it's like, it's got to stop. I mean, it's got to either tell them no trucks on North Broadway, have to go down High Street. I don't know what the answer is, but it needs to reduce down to 25. I'm all right with that. And I like the idea of the speed bumps, but I don't think that's a possibility on West North Broadway.
Any other questions from commissioners or comments about things you're seeing in your districts?
Just, is there in fact a meeting set up with the city council person, or is that still in the works?
We've been working on it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any questions from neighbors? Sure, we've got, go ahead.
I just
Second
want to
round first.
piggyback. Have you called the corporate office in Cincinnati, Ohio with Kroger's?
For Kroger, no, I have not. That's my
Um, That would,
I talked to the manager.
well, you might want to go to the headquarters, because if the pictures are falling off the wall, certain hours of the time in the morning, it would be best for you to call the headquarters in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you don't get anybody there, you wanna take that to that company and also take it to the city, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Cause you should not be disturbed, you know? For me just to hear that, I'm really trapped of that. You want to call the headquarters in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's where you want to start and do your complaint. If it's not resolved, then you can ask somebody, hey, can we lower that, not have any instructions to that property or that owner that occupied that house. So I've advised you to go ahead and do the first step. Then you can take it a step further to the city council. Just make sure you have these complaints, because they can work around that, and I believe they can. Thank you.
Thanks for your comment. I know we've got a comment up front, and then I'll come to you next. Thank you.
Is Morris Road included in the traffic study that was just mentioned?
I'm not
Or
sure.
in the discussions in general?
Just High Street.
Just High Street. The Morse Road is a separate issue. We're looking into it. It's a harder fight though because it's not a business district. So the rules governing the speed limit on Morse Road are different than
Not
like
so much
what's
the speed
happening.
limit, but potential traffic calming. I heard the discussion about the speed on North Broadway. On Morse Road, it's designed like a highway, and so people naturally drive on it like a highway. And there are a bunch of newer young families moving in on both sides of it. And I'm worried there's gonna be a tragic event here in the next couple of years because people routinely go down to 50, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's on the list of things we've talked about, even increasing enforcement, traffic calming.
Enforcement won't work. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we can, I mean, when we have our meeting with city council too, we can talk about Morse Road as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I've made sure to include Councilmember Reed's team on those emails as well, so that they can also be present at that meeting. So that way, any of the public safety concerns that you guys have, you can just knock it out all in one swing. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, please.
I just want to remind you that East Weber Road has the same problem.
Yes.
And we too would like to have the speed limit reduced.
Thank you for coming back and thank you for continuing to bring that topic up.
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome back.
For Oakland Park Avenue again.
Yeah.
And then I also wanted to check, just ask council for the speed limit study of why it's not pushed to at least Oakland Park Avenue, just to include the farmers market. There's a lot of, like, if we're talking about pedestrian car interfacing, I mean, with kids, families, people park on my street all the time to walk down to the farmers market, and like people young kids cross there. So I feel like at minimum it should include Oakland Park, if not North Broadway in that study. Because then you have like a major artery going to another major artery. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other neighbor comments on traffic calming and speeds? Thanks so much. Thanks for diligently tracking down council members and giving us great updates every month. We really appreciate it. Of course. Next up, we have Ms. Leah Lewis with Columbia Gas here for an update. Thanks for coming back.
Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oh, good thing I'm not nervous. So, obviously, I'm in public affairs for Columbia Gas, and as many of you know, construction is live and well. And so, what I've done is I have a monthly newsletter that goes out to about 400 residents, and I'm just taking the questions and the issues one by one. The goal is to be out of Plainville by June. Weber properties, it's been a lot. It's been a lot of back and forth with our third-party contractor. He's based out of Cincinnati. It was supposed to start Monday, but the weather was just really bad. So it will resume this upcoming Monday on the 13th. And the goal is to have those properties cleared by the end of the month. I'll keep you posted, but I already have a note that you'll ask me every month. So the goal is to have it cleared out and then to start those conversations about what to do with the green space. I know we were gonna do something at the quarterly meeting, But if we want to kind of start those conversations with the residents, my question to the group is, would you like me to send out some type of mailer to have them come to the next area commission meeting so we can have that conversation in an open forum? Would you prefer that it be just the residents that would be, I guess, directly impacted? So just give me kind of the direction that you're feeling and we'll get those conversations started. But construction again it's going on. It is very messy, it's very disruptive, but as I get issues, I resolve issues. I am always driving through Clintonville just to see what you see, so that way when I take it back to the table, it looks bad. I keep saying it looks bad. And if you live near those properties, I apologize. I can't give you anything else, but I'm trying. It will get cleared out, and I'm pushing for it to be done sooner rather than later.
I would love to defer to what Commissioner Vlada and others think, since your districts are most impacted, but I tend to think a standalone meeting would be a better, I just would hate to make it feel rushed on our agenda, but we could do it like an hour before our committee meeting, or commission meeting, or we could help you find space.
Yeah, I'm open to times, it doesn't matter, because the goal is, it needs to happen during the growth season, and that, from what I hear, is like March. So once the weather breaks, we wanna have a plan of what we would like to do with that space.
We can publicize it through all of our channels too, so even if it's a separate from this, we can make sure it goes out on all the CAC website and social media and all that.
Yes, so if you have any ideas, as far as like a timeline, when you'd like to have that meeting, just let me know. That way I can send out those mailers to start the conversation.
Well, I agree, a separate meeting would be ideal because, we're limited on time here at the meeting. But also it gives those people an opportunity to express what they want to do. I have a question when you say that it will be finished by the end of June.
So that's all of the work in Clintonville. So that phase will be closed down.
So the phase as far as building the buildings or just?
So this is just for the pipeline.
Okay.
Just the pipeline. When we talk about the regulator stations, that is a later bill. We're looking at 26, 27.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, but just the holes in the ground from that pipe is the goal is to be out by June.
Okay, on
And then
East
we'll start
Weber as well.
restoration. I'm sorry.
On East Weber as well for the site.
When you say.
It's cleared and all the debris is removed.
Oh, yes, the goal for that is like.
End of the month.
Yeah, not June. Like, I'm pushing for that.
Okay. I'll push for it too.
Yes, don't worry. And I'm gonna ride past on Monday to just kind of follow up with that contractor, because it's kind of gone above me and above them because of the issues that we've been having.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wouldn't be opposed to a separate meeting either. I like how someone put a Christmas tree on top of the West Weber debris pile to make it a little more festive. That was kind of nice. Yeah. One thing on my street, I have the steel plates right now, and they're covered in snow and they're very slick. So I don't know if there's something to be done here while there's snow on the ground, just to make it a little safer.
I will connect with the construction team to let them know.
And I think maybe giving all the people who are living within that construction zone maybe a discount on their gas bill this month.
Look, I'm going to spend somebody's money.
Just a suggestion.
I like it.
For our inconvenience.
I agree. Is there any other ideas that you would like? I can take them all to the table. Maybe in Linden, we did the carols on Cleveland, and we got a food truck, and we fed 500 people. I want to make sure that we're showing up at the same time that we're working. So if you have any ideas of how we can show up for you, let me know, because I'm really here for it.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any questions from neighbors? Yeah, John and Beth.
I'm Chris. I used to live here, but I'm back visiting right now. I just walked in. But I am visiting a good friend over on Crestview between Indianola and the railroad tracks. And those metal plates are there. They almost swallowed my rental key today. So if construction could go out there and just get some eyes on that and just see. I understand that there's a lot of ice, but it's up to you. They're lights and hook up against the curb so that they don't get, damaged to the rims.
I have to start there tomorrow.
Thanks for spending your time visiting at the Clintonville Area Commission.
Wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Please.
Yeah, I want to make sure everyone can hear me. So I live on West Weber Road. We spent a lot of time and a lot of effort going through a lot of hassle discussing this project at great length before it started, before the actual transaction happened when Columbia Gas acquired that property, to make sure that there was some level of communication of our set of what we expected as a neighborhood. And to this point, that what the reality has fallen far short of the bar, what was agreed to by Columbia Gas. The transaction, Columbia Gas acquired that property last spring, I believe. Construction started like last June. Then after the asbestos was all stripped off the building and stuff, there's a shell of a building sitting there for a couple of months before the contractor came and started dumping concrete and dirt from another site on that property. Then they tore down the building right before Thanksgiving. We were not given any warning whatsoever that that was going to happen. And then it's still sitting there. This is not acceptable. This is not the bill of goods that we were sold. It is not. All we ask, we understand it's construction zone. We know it's going to look bad. I don't want apologies. I want to know what is going to happen and when to expect it to happen. I don't want our neighborhood to be treated as a dumping ground, as a trash site. That is not where we live, and that is not what Columbia Gas agreed to when they came to our neighborhood.
And we feel the same way on East Weber.
As
We're very
you told
close
the
to.
story, I followed you because I was in that story. So everything that you're saying is valid. The only thing that I can do is take it from where we are and promise you that I can give you those updates. And as timelines change, I'll keep you looped in. If you have one-off questions and issues, let me know and I'll take it directly to the team and I'll try to resolve it. But everything you're saying is valid. I wasn't here. I came in, I was grandfathered in. So a lot of those conversations I wasn't a part of. But I know that you guys were told certain things, and as soon as I came in, all of those stories changed. So I'm at a place where I'm taking all of your feedback, and I'm trying to get the resolution. So I'm trying to make sure that if we say we're gonna do something, that's what we commit to, and that's what we do. But and we deal with those third-party contractors, because right now, we're really relying on another party to do the work that we paid them to do. But we've been having a lot of issues. So all I can do is continue to try and get these things resolved, because I understand how you feel about this neighborhood. I feel like I'm a part of the neighborhood too, and so that's why I drive the neighborhood. It is unacceptable. So all of the issues I'm taking back to the table.
All I'm asking is to have some idea ahead of time when something is going to happen or is expected to happen.
So my question, are you on my email list?
I mean, we've emailed directly back and forth, but no, I have not received any. The only reason I'm here tonight is because I'm on the Clintonville Commission email list.
Okay,
When I
but if
saw
you
that
give me
you
your
would be
email, I can make sure to forward you something that I sent out. Was it this week or last? Maybe it was Monday, where I had kind of the timelines of exactly where construction would be, where there were gonna be blocks in the road, and some timelines of restoration. So I'll make sure that you're included into that email, and then as you have questions, I get them answered. When someone asks me something, they have a task, I get the answer in 24 to 48 hours.
My understanding is that there's also precedents set by, or requirements set by city code that are not being made. For example, when a building is demolished, the residents within 125 feet are supposed to be notified at least 48 hours in advance. That is, we live well within that 125-foot range, and we were never notified.
Correct.
So there are steps that are not being taken that need to be taken going forward.
I understand. When that building was demoed, I didn't know it was getting demoed. So there are things that need to be fixed within our system of communication, and that's what I'm actively trying to resolve.
Okay.
So I hear you, you are correct, you're valid in everything that you told me, and I'm taking that information to make it better in the future.
I look forward to that.
Can you further explain, so, mostly concerned with the gas regulator stations for East and West Weber. You had said that, so demolition will be cleared out by the end of this month, which is great. We look forward to that. But you said that construction might not be done till the end of 2026, and you mentioned green space. Can you explain, are they going to leave those lots vacant?
Yes, so they're going to reclaim the lots, and make it just green, but the conversation is how would the community like to utilize that space in the interim before the new build? Because it's about an 18-month gap, so the question is, what would the community like to do while we're waiting on that build?
So 18 months prior to the new structures going in.
Correct.
And 18 months prior to more active construction. Okay, thank you.
I think I saw another hand.
I just think with the frustration that I hear about, I'm gonna be like with this young man, maybe lower gas and maybe given a $250 food voucher card or either like a $500 gas card. If these people gotta feel like frustration, see, I'm all the way from North Linden area, and this for me to sit in here to hear this. Yes, people are frustrated and they want time factors when this is going to be done. I hear this young man's frustration, but there's got to be some type of leeway where you have to give incentives. If they got to go through all this construction in their area and look at this dust and debris and dirt and whatever, you have to give some type of indication, or for gas card up to $500, or for grocery card up to $350. If they constantly got to deal with this, and so to ease these people's pain, if we're going to do this work in here, they want time factors, the date, when this is going to be done, giving out notifications. This is what we're doing at this time. This is how long it's going to take. We want some follow-up with these people here. And it's not right for a person that comes in here frustrated and want to know the time frame of all this. Yes, a house got demolition. Yes, there have to be notification. Yes, there have to be that. What is the time frame? Yes, now, I understand the zoning here, but, you know, leaving an empty place, you know, I'm not gonna go into details, but this stuff here, you know, I had printed this off today, and so we want to be dialogue with these customers or these homeowners. What's going on? Because the same thing's getting ready to happen on my street, where we got these concrete blocks on Arlington Avenue, and I'm just waiting to see how this is going to look. Because right in front of my house, I got these yellow gas lines, and they get ready to tear up the whole street. I don't know when this is coming, but I'm on the edge of my seat and want to know when this is going to happen. Yes, I am a property owner, and yes, I will feel the same pain what they're going through. And so I advise you to give out incentives. If these people are feeling like this, they should not have to feel like this. Just like this man said, yes, drop their gas bills if they got to go through this. Yes, give them something so they can be more happy when this construction gets done. Thank you for my time.
Thanks for your comment, and thanks, Ms. Lewis, for being so responsive. Every time I think one of us has emailed you, it's been very quick response, so we appreciate that you're working to get info to us. Are there any other neighbor comments or questions for Columbia Gas this evening? Okay, great. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, I am going to turn it over to Zoning and Variance Chair Stephen Hardwick. Would you like to start with the item or with the committee process?
I do with the item in case the applicants, and if the applicants, yeah, if the applicants here. I don't, you may or may not, after you hear me, you can decide whether you want me to hear from them as well. Because this is a dumpster issue. The city told them they couldn't keep the dumpster where they had it in the past. And so they're seeking, and this is pretty much, they did a good job of explaining to the committee, if they can, if you want to hear the details, they can explain to you much better than I can why it has to go where it is. So they're seeking variances to reduce the required setback for the dumpster enclosure from 25 feet to 10 feet from the right of way, and to reduce the maneuvering area for a garbage truck from 20 feet to 14.5 7, 8 feet. I believe they used to have it behind wherever they had it, the city said you can't keep it there. You have to move it. And right now, if they can't find a good place, if they can't do this, what they're doing now is they have a private service coming in. The tenants have to keep the trash inside, and the private service has to come and pick it up. I did not receive any comments from neighbors. No one showed up at the meeting to complain. And it was, I think we did a detailed description in the draft minutes that you received, I believe, yesterday. Yes, where else could they move it further back? And that's issues of dumpster access to having the trash truck be able to get back to it. If you have more detailed questions, they are much better explaining it. The committee recommended unanimously to approve this.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to provide any additional comments?
Sure. So we did have a dumpster in the parking lot area, which was cited, and then we went through the process of attempting to get individual 90-gallon cans. But you can only have cans in the city of Columbus if you have 4 or less units on one parcel. This is 8 units, so we don't qualify for that. And when I went down to building and zoning, there was no site plans for a dumpster. So now we're left to our imagination of letting one.
Any questions from commissioners for the applicant? Yeah.
What's the fence enclosure material?
It's going to be wood. And then we have also discussed putting greenery around that area as well to kind of camouflage as much as possible.
Any additional questions from commissioners? Any questions from the public? Great, well, thanks for being here this evening. We will go ahead and take a vote. Should the variances for EZA 24-148, address 262 to 264 Broad Meadows Boulevard, be approved to provide a dumpster with an enclosure for multi-unit apartment? Commissioner Moritz?
Yes.
Commissioner Higley?
Yes.
Commissioner Wada?
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter?
Yes.
And I too will vote yes. Congratulations on the project.
Thanks. You can stay for the rest of the meeting if you want. It's church. They've had to put a lot of time into this dumpster. To getting this, a lot of time and money.
I understand.
Quit that.
Don't quit.
Thank you.
Next thing, I have, up until, this is a discussion of the new committee roster, because the current committee's term end at the end of this month, and you will get bios to decide for the new ones. I didn't ask until a couple days ago, committee members, whether they plan to reapply, because I also didn't want to be presumptuous and jump the gun, and I try to be respectful of the commission's prerogatives. In the last couple of days, 7 of the 8 have gotten back to me and said they plan to reapply. The 8th has not told me they don't plan to reapply, they just didn't get back to me within like 48 hours, which is understandable at this point. So I just want to put that in. But I sent you all the proposed deadlines for applying. This is to avoid the problem in the past where I misunderstood someone, whether someone wanted to stay on the committee or not. This is to create a formal process. I'd also suggest if people are interested, they should apply. Last time, one of the committee members forgot to meet the deadline, and one thing that's in the rules is if we get 8 applications, if we get at least 8 applications, we don't accept late applications. If we get 8 timely applications, we don't accept any late applications. So if people are interested, they can do it. If anyone is in, I moved back the days, all the days by 1 because that are in our committee rules, and that's because the date of the rules now require me to consult with the chair and vice chair at a certain date, and the problem is I'm going to be out of town for that date and a couple days preceding it. I'm just coming back into town that evening. I figured move that back at least a day, that way we can just have some thoughtful more useful conversations. So if the commission approves this, the deadline for the people who are interested in applying will have to email me by Saturday, January 25th. And late applications will only be accepted if 8 people have not applied under the procedures approved by the commission, which this is draft. By January 28th, I will consult with the chair and vice chair of the commission. By January 31st, I'll send a proposed slate of 8 committee members, as well as any information received from all applicants to the commission, which I'll ask for, then I'm asking everyone for bios. Basically, a brief biography and why you want to serve a committee and what you'll add to the committee. And that's all sent just as long as we're in public notice. hardwick.zoning@gmail.com. hardwick.zoning@gmail.com. And I was asked, and then you make the final, it says final decision, you make the actual decision at your meeting next month. But I have to get those to you, I believe, now it's 6 days. I'll get this to you by Friday, before your meeting. So maybe it's Saturday, I have to take a look at this real quick.
I remember looking at the time and it was fine.
Yeah, so, no, and then, as I said, that's why I wrote draft on the top of it, make sure in case we decided to move it up a day, that no one looked at this and then missed the deadline by a day because they saw this piece of paper.
I really appreciate the thought that has went into this, and your attention to fairness and transparency. I have no issues whatsoever with this timeline. I think it works well for us to be able to approve a slate for zoning and variance at our February meeting, so I'm really supportive of this. Do any other commissioners have questions or concerns about this proposal? Any questions from neighbors about this proposal? Great. I don't think that we need to have a full vote on it. I think we can go ahead and proceed.
Okay.
Just administratively, this seems to make sense. I think, do you have any questions for us? Is there anything we can do?
I think, if you have, I know there's always been concern, do we have someone from every district? You know we won't have someone, but if there's someone from your district and you think your district's underserved, encourage them to send in an application. And if there are, my plan is to treat these as, even though they're technically 8 open seats, is to treat them as the open seat, is to anyone who wants to stay on, they're all good people, they've done good work. I don't see any reason to ask any of them to leave. So my thought is, if all of them want to stay on and submit timely applications, then I would recommend them. If there are open seats, I would be very happy to look at anyone from your district that you thought of. And also what we've, in the past, people who applied not been accepted to here and found other spots for a while. So if they apply to me, maybe the planning people will be able to help out. Maybe they'll help out there. It's a foot in the door, and their bios will get before you because you get to see everyone, and then you can say, hey, wait a minute, we have this great project that seems to fit. And also, I think Commissioner Weinman tonight here did a good job of helping keep things. And it was his effort to push to make sure we got you bios well in advance, so that you weren't just approving a slate of 8 names that you've never heard of.
No, I appreciate that too. Yeah.
So we will receive the names, bios of all committees before next month's meeting, so we can review them, and if we have any questions, we can raise it at that point. Okay.
And if you can bring them to me in advance as well, I'll let you know if we start to have issues of, I don't think I've ever had 5 of you contact me about something, but if we start to get close to a quorum contacting me, I'll let you know that we're at that point.
Close to sunshine law. Quorum.
And I guess I do have a question here. Do you know the city attorney's training, does that include zoning issues? We don't know.
But I can look into it.
Like I said, I wanted to recommend it, because that would be great for the committee members since it's coming up so soon.
Let me look. I will ask. I'll see what they presented last year, 'cause it's pretty much the same thing.
So my plan, I think Chair Cochi left, but I know Chair Dahl is still here. I think he's out there. I'll touch base with all the chairs, but my plan, after this meeting is to promote that we have an opening for our tech and PR chair role, and then, to direct folks to our newly reappointed chairs if they're interested in serving on a committee through our social media and website channels. And I think it would be, if this timeline works well for you too, Melissa, I think it would be great if we just use the same timeline across our committees, for submitting, just to keep everything simple. And I, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of your committee members were willing to continue.
But there'll be 3 of us, so we actually need 2 more.
We need 2 more, okay, great. Well, hopefully we can do some good promotion Great, well, that will be the action item following this meeting. Thank you again for drafting this up, and I am gonna just use it across the other committees because it's perfect, so thank you. And if anybody here is interested in volunteering on committee, please let the chairs know.
Well, I can't say for other committees, I don't think any other committees have the problem of too many applicants, so.
Yeah, and so just for everyone who's not intimately familiar with our committee structures, the zoning and variance is the only committee that typically votes on items and sends them to the commission to vote on, and so we have to be very mindful of keeping a certain number on that committee, and it's just functions differently than our other committees, which do more recommendations, volunteerism, and not voting on specific zoning and variance pieces like the Stevens Committee does. So it's held sometimes to a different standard around some of these administrative policies. Any questions from neighbors about our committee appointment processes? Well, we look forward to approving our slates in February and hopefully our treasurer and our tech and PR chair and being totally staffed up, volunteered up. Getting back to our agenda, we are truly jamming this month. I know we have at least one resident here for public comment. Would you like to introduce yourself and your public comment this evening?
Sure. Thank you for giving me the time. I'm hoping my voice continues. My name is Melinda Cogley. I live at 4366 Hingham Avenue, and my husband Gary and I we just feel so fortunate to be on the ravine side of the street. It's just paradise. Our backyard is wildlife and beauty and paradise, and we're so fortunate to be there. Just to give you a little bit of background, my childhood home was the big stucco house on the corner of Sellers and Dominion. My parents bought that house in 1962. Gives you an idea of how old I am. And my sister and my brothers and I, we all went to Indian Springs, Dominion, at the time it was junior high, Whetstone High School. Just to let you know that I've had a lifelong commitment to and love for Clintonville and the ravines. I grew up playing on the ravine that I'm now living on because I was a block and a half away.
And you've been a lifelong member of the North Broadway Church.
Oh, and yes, my husband just reminded me I've been a lifelong member of North Broadway United Methodist Church. So we bought our current home on Ingham Avenue in 2007. We actually bought it from my parents, who bought it in 1986. And so for the last 38 years, it's been a family-owned home. For the last 8 years of my parents' lives, they lived with us. So they stayed in this home for a total of 30 years. Again, just to give you some insight as to the commitment and the life that I've lived here in Clintonville and specifically on the ravine. On December 1st, our neighbor, who is immediately to our south, knocked on our door. It was a Saturday morning, and he wanted to inform us that he would be high-powered bow hunting in his backyard for deer and coyote. Now, that was my reaction. He stated that Ohio state law gives him this legal right. He moved into this home, he and his wife moved into this home in mid-2022. So he's been in Clintonville. I think one of them is from Wisconsin, one of them is from Michigan. They come, they haven't been here very long. So our immediate response to him was absolutely not. I'm not a pro hunter, but my reason was for safety purposes. I mean, children play in the ravine. I used to play in the ravine. Residents walk the ravine. The kids from Dominion cut through the ravine to and from school.
Yeah, just make an interjection. It's technically the Adena Brook Ravine.
Yeah, it is the Adena Brook Ravine. Thank you. So then my husband stated to him that he is an advocate of hunting, but again, for safety purposes, hard no. Well, Max then presented to us a brochure. Yeah, the neighbor. Presented to us a brochure that listed what he believed were his legal rights and included information allegation that it is illegal to stop a legal hunter from hunting. I think he saw it coming. He then said we could continue this conversation at a later date. I thought our hard no was final. So I have here in my notes, we were left absolutely stunned at the idea of bow hunting. First of all, to kill deer in Clintonville, and secondly, the houses are very close together, as we all know. Now, we have a very long lot that goes into the ravine, but the houses side to side are right on top of each other. So my husband just dove into research. I immediately started contacting neighbors. Every single person I contacted said no. I now actually have a list of 17 who have formally stated on this list their name and address that this is no, and these are residents that circle our residents.
The properties of the neighbors that she's referring to all abut onto these lots.
Well, most of them. But the other concern is, not only do we not want, arrows flying around high-powered, from a high-powered bow, but the idea of a wounded deer running around now because he is of the belief that because he's shooting straight down from 15 feet up in a chair, that he's going to hit the deer and it's going to drop immediately. I've talked to hunters who said that does not happen, that a deer that's shot will run, which means now we're going to have a wounded deer running around Clintonville until it drops on somebody's yard or in the street or whatever. So we were very surprised though when we did our research and neighbors did research to find out there are no local ordinances in the city of Columbus. Pardon me?
No, nor within the Ohio Revised Code. There are no restrictions that keep a licensed hunter from hunting on his own property. Okay, now, I'm sorry, Mindy, I'm interrupting here. His lot is less than a quarter acre. Where he set the tree stand in the tree overlooking the ravine is 20 feet from his east property line.
Well, what I was
So
getting to
the
that
reality of the matter is that he may take aim and shoot a deer that he believes is on his property, but it may in reality be on one
our
of the
property.
properties. And so and that is illegal within the Ohio Revised Code and with city guidelines.
But there are no local ordinances that restrict bow hunting in the city of Columbus. Now, a lot of us have wondered, is it that it's legal in the city of Columbus within the city limits, or is it just that it's not yet illegal because it's never been challenged? Every hunter I've spoken with has said, no hunter would even consider this. But can you imagine, on the state or, any government-owned property, like the Park of Roses, there are all kinds of restrictions. You have to be 400 feet away from any structures, lots and lots of restrictions. But if you go right across Holland back, you can stand in a backyard and get up in a tree and shoot a deer on your own property. You can't shoot a deer here, but you can shoot a deer on that side of the street. So my thought is, can you imagine if this sets a precedence and now we have a whole bunch of people in Clintonville who want to start bow hunting our deer? I mean, it's just, I had one neighbor say, this is so crazy, I can't wrap my brain around it. So, last Saturday, Max sent us a text letting us know that he would be up in his tree stand target shooting. And I wrote back to him and I said, I've already told you absolutely no. But he didn't answer. On Sunday, late afternoon around 4 o'clock, neighbors from the other side of our ravine, directly behind us and Max, sent me a text and said he's in the tree with bow and arrow. Now also, you need to understand that where he has chosen to put his tree stand is about 30 feet from our primary suite window. So I'm in my bedroom, I'm looking out my window, and he's right there.
he thinks he can control this bug. I suggest he probably can't. So the neighbors that alerted me came out their door, went down into the ravine, stood on their property at the creek, and looked at him and said, "Are you bow hunting?" And he said, "Yes." And they said, "Why? In a residential area?" And his response was, "Because I can." Yeah. I was out on the balcony listening to this because, again, our balcony that's on our bedroom is right, 30 feet from where he was in the tree. So texts started going out, neighbors started coming out. About 6 or 8 of us gathered in our driveway, which is right across from their front door. 2 neighbors went up and knocked on his door, and he came out with his pamphlet. And they were challenging him. Why are you doing this? The one neighbor said, "I'm a hunter, but I go into Michigan. I go into many acres to do my hunting." I started to walk toward him. I wanted to join in the conversation, so I started to walk toward the steps of their porch, and he put his hand up, and he said, "I will not talk to you, Mindy. I will not talk to a mob." And he turned around and went into his house. And I thought, okay, this is getting pretty bad. At this point, it had been very civil, but now he's suggesting that we're a mob.
He's got callous disregard.
Oh, absolute callous disregard for, I let him know that there are now 17 households I've spoken to. He asked me for a list of these names and addresses. I have now provided him that list because he said he's spoken to neighbors and they've all seemed to be perfectly okay with it. I can't find anybody so far. So, trying to make sure I don't miss any points here. We believe this is urgent. I know bow hunting season goes until February 2nd, so he basically has this month to, he was specifically talking about he would only go after the bucks. We have a 10-point buck that lives right behind our house. I know he has his eye on that buck. There's some domesticated too. I mean, they can walk right up to us. It's gonna be like shooting fish in a barrel.
As part of his request to hunt, his request to the neighbors to hunt in his backyard, he indicated that he was truly an advocate of calling the deer herds and of eliminating coyotes. Okay. Mindy and I have lived on this ravine since 2008. Actually, we bought the house in 2007. Early on, when I was still able to walk, I'd go into the ravine and I would see a herd of deer of 11, 12, 15 deer, numerous bucks, of course the does. And since that period of time, we have had deer coming into our backyard. And we've always enjoyed seeing them.
Everybody does.
But he's also made the comment that he is willing to take out coyotes. I have only, since we've lived there since 2008, I have only seen one coyote in the neighborhood, and it was running down Emu Avenue. It wasn't in the ravine. So for him to use the point that he feels obligated to help call the herd and to reduce the coyote population, it's really disingenuous for him to do that. So the fact is that his stand is less than 40 feet from our bedroom. And I'm a 100% disabled veteran. The VA told me a number of years ago I would never walk again, and that's not the right answer. I can't walk, but I don't move very quickly at all. And if there's a hunter next to my house that is shooting a high-powered crossbow, and I see that there's a risk of me, I can't move out of the way quickly. So
I don't think a lot of people can move quickly away from a bow, from a high-powered, or an arrow from a high-powered bow. I mean, this is so beyond absurd. And he is adamant about it, absolutely adamant about it, even though he has now seen a group of us, and he now has a list of 17, and growing. I've only just talked to 17 people so far. But we're very concerned about arrows. We're very concerned about...
We're less than 400 feet from the International Middle Language School old
What used to be
Dominion
Dominion Junior High.
Middle School. And those arrows, if he were to shoot, and it deflected off a rock, it couldn't reach that school.
Is it a crossbow or a compound bow?
No, he's using,
Sure.
yeah, he's using a crossbow, it's not a longbow.
So this is my 5th year on the commission, and we have spent many, many hours talking about the deer population. We've had standalone community meetings about the deer population that have been attended by upwards of 200 people at one of the local churches. I don't have the code in front of me. I believe you and your neighbors doing your research. My understanding this entire time has been that it is not possible to hunt within the city limits for the deer.
With a firearm, with a bow.
Well, just the bow and arrow issue has not come up before. I'm looking at Department of Neighborhood Codes in case there's any
That is
additional.
something I do not know, but I can try to find out.
Yeah.
Well,
This feels extraordinarily dangerous.
Well, we spoke with the wildlife officer of the Ohio Department
Mark Williams.
Natural Resources,
And he
Mark
said,
Williams.
I can't do a darn thing.
He said, unfortunately,
He
there
said, you can
are,
call Columbus Police, you can call the state, they can't do
Which I
anything
did.
because.
I called the police and they said there are no ordinances against it. I also had a conversation with Brad Kiger, State and Metro Parks, and he said, nope, there are no ordinances against it. So again, our belief is, it's not that it's legal, it's just that it's never been challenged, and therefore it's not
If it's not illegal,
illegal.
that means it's legal.
Right, but for, I know,
Have you looked
right.
into any like zoning setback requirement for something like a tree stand?
He has under the Ohio Revised Code, the right to hunt on his property.
And I think he said.
Using a bow. He's also got the right to use a
says-
firearm, but he cannot discharge a firearm in the city of Columbus. But he is allowed to use.
And if I could,
I'm wondering about the stand
Okay, I'm sorry.
itself though.
well, if I could,
No.
here's what he thinks.
No, no.
He says in his pamphlet,
Is that
Is
his
it-
pamphlet?
this is what he gave us, this is what he's been giving out in the neighborhood. Is it legal to hunt in your backyard in Clintonville? Yes. In Clintonville, City of Columbus, it is legal to bow hunt in your backyard. I will only be bow hunting and will not use or carry firearms. Are you following all local, state, and federal regulations? Yes. I have consulted the Ohio Division of Natural Resources and the City of Columbus Police Department to ensure full compliance
Oh, shit.
with law. I participated in a police ride-along on October 25th to get to know our local officers and notify them of my plans to bow hunt on my property. Do you have the necessary permits? While Ohio landowners are exempt from requiring hunting licenses or deer permits on their property, I have both, blah, blah, blah. Is it legal to deer hunt? Yes, hunting deer is legal and plays a critical role in managing Ohio's growing deer population. Is it legal to hunt coyotes? Yes.
Mark, could you pass that down?
And then, one of his statements, I don't support hunting. What can I do to prevent you from hunting? I hope the information in these facts helps clarify the important role of hunting in conservation and wildlife management. While I respect differing opinions, hunting is a legally protected activity in Ohio. Interfering with hunting can result in fines or legal action under Ohio Revised Code, blah, blah. For more details on legal protections around hunting, I encourage you to review the specific code.
Can I interrupt for a moment and ask what we're looking at in this
That's the
picture?
back of our home
Okay.
from the other side of the ravine in winter. And if you look at the windows on the left side of the house, that's our bedroom wing.
Okay.
He's within 40 feet of that bedroom.
I see, more like 25 or 30. So, we're wondering, what can we do? And what can the Clintonville Area Commission do to assist? I mean, apparently, any of us could have this problem. Anybody could decide to hunt in his or her backyard with a bow and arrow from a tree stand 15 feet up. And as I said, it could be right across the street on Holland Jack, shooting anything that might come in. So we're wondering, can we make immediate contact with Columbus City Council to initiate a process to prohibit the firing of projectiles? I know Dublin has that ordinance that,
Hilliard has it.
Dublin, Hilliard, yeah, we've looked at areas surrounding Columbus, but not Columbus. So Dublin goes into all kinds of detail about specifics regarding projectiles, specific different types of bows, all are no. So can we work with the Columbus City Council? And that would include practice shooting, because he did say, I'm only gonna be target shooting. Okay, well, that's a problem too.
I would recommend, and I'm happy to help with, but contacting the mayor's office. We've had many conversations over the years with Mayor Ginther's office about the deer population, and when we've had residents express concerns about overpopulation, we've gotten a very hard no, we're not going to do anything to decrease the deer population. So I think you would find an interest in hearing about this there for sure. I definitely think contacting city council, department input, if there's any information that you have from any of the other departments to share as well. I know Stacey always responds really quickly and tracks things down.
Curious, so he wants to hunt coyotes instead of predator and help call it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He just wants to shoot things.
I
I also, so if there are precedences of other local municipalities having these ordinances, if we can share that language with our policymakers at the local level, that would be great. I would also just caution that our legislature has the ability to preempt any local ordinances, and that they are very unlikely to do anything that would prevent any type of hunting, would just be my instinct, having been doing advocacy work for the last 15 years at the State House. So I would just be mindful of that as you're navigating. Like we can talk to city council and the mayor's office, but I don't think that there would be support for preventing this person from doing this maybe from our local state senator, but not from the majority in the state legislature, and they do have the ability to prevent local ordinances. So I would just be really thoughtful about that while navigating this.
Yeah, because at the state level, there are ordinances for, you must be outside of 180 feet of a residence, and you must, there are restrictions. He's not outside of 180 feet. So they do have restrictions for, as I said, government-owned and managed properties. Nothing for private property, right? Yeah, so, I mean, if we would just implement the state law, or the state,
apply
restrictions, yeah, that would be enough. And we're also wondering if there's any way to get an injunction to stop him in his dangerous activity, or any kind of a temporary
Well, the
injunction.
city people here, is it possible that the city attorney could apply to the municipal court to get a temporary injunction from bow hunting within the city of Columbus? Is that a possibility? Because we recognize, if we want to get this in the legislation, it's gonna take a very long time. But that doesn't solve the danger that exists right now to this community.
It would have to be a violation of code. And if there's no code, then there would be no enforcement.
Okay, and I don't imagine any type of existing civil protection order would work.
You could always sue as a private individual, but for the city to file, we would need to have a violation of city code that we're seeking to enforce.
See, well, the issue that, from my perspective, that we have here is that it's never been addressed by the city because no fool ever thought of doing this. Shooting deer from a quarter-acre backyard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. The house on the other side of him is probably 14 feet. We actually have a driveway in between our house and his, so it causes it to be a little wider, but right next to him, he is right on top of his other neighbor. I mean, it's just beyond absurd, and we're looking for help, and we're looking for ways to stop him, and we're looking for whatever we need to do to change or add laws and restrictions, and I know that'll take a long time, but I have patience regarding this, as far as patience to do what I need to do to create the restrictions, but I'm feeling very impatient about the fact that he has until February 2nd to sit outside our bedroom window with a high-powered bow.
We've got another public comment.
I think it sounds like everybody's coming at it from the language of hunting, but this sounds like more like a brandishing a weapon issue. Can you come at it from a different perspective?
Well, I've looked at that too, and I have not found a way to do that, because according to the Ohio Revised Code, the wildlife codes, every private property owner has the right to hunt on his property. And there are no restrictions within that code on to what size the property must be. So if you have a 1/4 acre lot anywhere here in Clintonville, the owner of that lot can hunt on his lot. So say somebody that lives just on the south side of the park here, he's got a little 1/4 acre lot, and a deer from the park comes onto his lot. He's a licensed hunter, he's got a permit to hunt, he can use a bow to take that deer right there. And I have yet, in the neighbors that we've talked with, several attorneys, there are no ways that we can stop this guy. And that's why, in our discussions with Mark Williams of the Department, the Franklin County Wildlife Officer, he said, there's not a damn thing we can do about it. Okay, but when you read the Ohio Revised Code regarding the division of wildlife within the Department of Natural Resources, with any game area within the control of that division, you cannot discharge a weapon, firearm, for firearm hunting season, or archery season. You cannot discharge that within 400 feet of any structure or occupied facility. So the division has put restrictions in, but the state has not. And
the city has not. Right.
Now, in Franklin County is completely oblivious on the issue. But there are numerous municipalities around the suburbs here, Dublin, Hilliard, Worthington, of course, is addressing the issue of calling the deer herds. And I don't have a problem with it as long as it's a controlled and licensed hunter doing that. We have no idea what this guy's background is. I don't know if he's ever fought or fired a bow before. So I don't have a problem if they need to call herds, if they're licensed.
Well, they're talking, Worthington's gonna bring in professionals, and they're gonna do it, in a very controlled environment, and, as much as I hate the thought of hunting, if that were to have to happen in Clintonville and we were to do it in a controlled way, I would just make sure I'm not home that day, because I just don't want to see it. But this is beyond absurd, so I guess
May I add, because you just touched on a point, she doesn't, when he shoots a deer and it runs, it ends up on my property. Just the effect of that is going to be very, very disturbing to many, many people. I can deal with it, but the fact is that if he shoots it on his property, he has to then immediately tag it. If he shoots it on his property and it runs off, he then has to get written permission from the property owner to go to recover that deer. And if he doesn't have the permission, he can't recover the deer. But there are no guidelines anywhere within the state of Ohio, the city of Columbus. There are no guidelines that if he doesn't tag that deer, he can just say, hey, it's too cold, I don't want to go out and chase that deer down. He can leave it alone, and he's got no repercussions.
yeah, if it dies on our property, we've already told him he doesn't have permission. Everybody said you don't have permission to retrieve, but that means it's our problem, and there's no recourse against him. So he can shoot all day long as it's on his property, and wherever it runs, it's just everybody else's problem. Okay. So I guess we need help. Getting in touch with the mayor. I love that idea. Is there somebody that could maybe make the introduction, because it's going to take a minute for.
Leave your contact info with me, and I'm happy to connect you. So absolutely, yes. Okay, please do. And so our role is, by city code to be a conduit of information between residents and the city. So that's exactly what our purpose is. We can't legislate, but we can 100% connect you and share that this is a concern we're having in the community. And I really appreciate both of you coming tonight and sitting through the whole meeting to tell us about this. Was not on my 2025 CAC bingo card.
Wasn't on mine either.
Yeah. But really appreciate it. And sorry about we started the meeting talking about how you should talk to your neighbors when you're having a problem, and it sounds like that route has been explored, so appreciate that. And I'm sorry that this has been a process.
To bring this into
It
our.
could happen to your home, it could happen.
Right, yeah, it could happen to any one of us in this room, and I just don't think he has the right to disrupt the little paradise that we have, let alone anywhere in Clintonville, let alone anywhere in Franklin County.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. Please do share your contact info with me, and I'll make sure I can try to get you in touch with this folks too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Is there anyone else here tonight who wanted to provide public comment on different topics than bow hunting in our residential backyards?